What's up, Pokemon fans? Welcome back to another installment of my Fixing Shiny Pokemon series. This time, I'm tackling Generation 4. Now, Gen 4 has a very special place in my heart. During my teenage years, I fell off the Pokemon bandwagon for a bit, and almost altogether skipped Gen 3. I didn't play it until I was in my 20s. So back then, Gen 4 was almost a reintroduction to me as a Pokemon player. It was also the game where I caught the most random shiny Pokemon before I learned to actively hunt for them. That being said though, Generation 4 has a surprising amount of, well, not bad shiny Pokemon. In fact, I like a lot of shiny Pokemon from this generation. However, when scrolling through this generation as a whole, a theme occurs to me. This was the generation of yellow shiny Pokemon. In past generations, you see a couple variations of color, some purple, lots of green, a little bit of yellow. But in Generation 4, good sweet yellow Arceus, there is just a ton of these little yellow guys running around. And as always, color choice is subjective. Everyone has a preference in color, so my opinion on these fixes is just that, my opinion. And I really don't expect anyone to agree with them or even like a good majority of them. Alright. Rant over, let's hop into this countdown. Now, in breaking with my own tradition on these videos, I'm only going to be covering one of Generation 4's starter Pokemon, because believe it or not, I really don't have a problem with Torterra or Infernape's shiny forms. Sure, Torterra could have kept a bit of the turquoise from its previous evolutions, and Infernape did a pretty good job of keeping some of Monferno's purple. But for me, the biggest flop of the three is actually the Pokemon that kept the colors of its line the best. I'm sorry, Empoleon and Piplup lovers of the world, but I've always felt that Empoleon's shiny was a tad boring. I played around a lot with Empoleon before finally settling on a color palette that I liked. For some reason, when picturing Empoleon, I saw this Arctic diving master, much like its real-life counterpart. So the idea of making it blend in with the depths of the water more was a fun idea. The dull red gives it a bit more of a bloodthirsty appearance while still fitting in with the theme. I left the bright white, ruffles alone because everyone deserves to feel a little bit fancy once in a while. Taking the number 2 spot on this list is a Pokemon I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me on. It's a fan favorite, Luxray. While I adore Luxray's normal, non-shiny form, its shiny has always looked off-putting to me. The yellow and black remind me of some giant, furry bumblebee. I've always liked the contradicting blue and yellow, opposite sides of a color wheel. They contradict each other in an eye-pleasing way. But when you make Luxray mostly yellow and don't bring back his blue at all, it leaves things less pleasing for the eyes to look at. Now for me personally, I wanted to do a color swap with another part of him. Rather than bring blue back, I wanted to play around with his mane and take it from a black to a brilliant, shining white. I also gave his red eyes and nose a darker color and made his tail point black to give it that extra pop his non-shiny form did. Overall, I like this shiny version better personally, but I don't expect everyone to agree with me. Coming in at number 3 is the adorable, mystic Pokemon itself, Manaphy. Its shiny form is, well, it's a little bit bluer? I mean, it's certainly a different shade of blue, and, no, that's really it. It's a different shade of blue, and in game, it's barely noticeable. For Manaphy, I wasn't opposed to the blue, I just made it way lighter so that you can actually see a noticeable difference. I also darkened its eyes to make the lighter color pop a bit more, giving it a subtle purple change for the bits around its eyes and jewel, and deepening the red elsewhere. It's not a massive change, but it's enough to now know that it's a special, rarer version of the original. Coming in 4th is a trio, in fact, the trio of the generation. Azelf, Mesprit, and Uxie. Normally the trio's bodies are a nice light blue, with the biggest difference besides their head shapes being their respective colors. But their shiny forms were given the Gen 4 yellow curse. And while perhaps not as bad on Azelf and Mesprit, it makes Uxie look ill. Seriously ill. I love that when they made Azelf shiny, they made that blue super strong, vibrant, eye-catching. So in fixing the trio as a whole, I followed suit on that, giving Mesprit and Uxie the same vibrant treatment. I also gave their bodies a nice pale yellow. It is still yellow. I just dumped a bucket of white paint on it. Mesprit got a slight change to the color of its jewel so that the vibrant red didn't drown it out, but other than that, nothing else on this trio got touched. Coming in on the halfway point for this video is one of my favorite Pokemon. Mamoswine is amazing. And back when I first started competitive battling in Generation 6, this adorable mammoth was a favorite and I brought him to every battle. But I never once tried to get a shiny version for myself. Why? Because he's moldy looking when he's shiny. It's like they tried to take yellow and then mix it with brown and then they coated poor Mamoswine in it. One shiny fix for this mammoth coming up. Mamoswine is an ice type, living in frigid temperatures. Giving him a darker color to draw the heat in makes sense. But what I really love about this fix is the accenting blue. Ice type, blue. It's probably the most obvious reference I've ever come up with. There's no originality points here, but I still like it. What do you think? Is giving him the obvious blue icy tusks too much? Number 6 on this list is a Pokemon that would probably be altogether forgotten by the Pokemon world if it wasn't for one very special thing about it. Its in-game cry is probably the most unique sounding of all 802 Pokemon. It's Kricketune! Now, I have some personal experience with this shiny Pokemon. 3 years ago, playing through my very first copy of Pokemon Omega Ruby, I found a random encounter one while cooking dinner. I didn't hear the sparkle, I just glanced over and went, is that shiny? It looks different, I think. To be safe, I caught it. Pleasant surprise for me when I discovered it was indeed a shiny Pokemon. But for such a unique looking Pokemon, it's been a little let down all throughout history. No other bug looks like it, no other Pokemon comes close to its cry, but competitively it's outclassed across the board and gets no love there. And shiny-wise, unless you're trying to complete a shiny living dex, there really isn't a reason to hunt this thing. It's not different enough from its normal form to stand out as a, yes, I must own this mod. I wanted so badly to give this super unique bug something to help it stand out. Its normal form is red, Game Freak's shiny is orange, and mine is evergreen. Just like the grasshoppers of my youth, I wanted to make Kricketune stand out, and its green color is, well, not maybe a wow factor color at all, but when you compare it to its normal form, it's a striking difference. Now coming in for number 7 is a Pokemon I hate. Not because its design is bad, not because it's easily overlooked or forgotten as a Pokemon, it's because Evelyn's Lumineon wrecked me! I've hated this thing ever since Generation 6, simply for the reason that I went into the Battle Chateau unprepared, and this fish handed me the biggest salty L of my Pokemon career. It was some poetic justice for me when I realized that its shiny looked like someone had dragged it through the mud. Literally. But despite my hatred of this butterfly-looking fish, I have to admit, it's a bad shiny. It's unappealing and it really doesn't do this guy any favors. Lumineon literally has illuminate in its name, meaning it's lit up, it's bright, it's decorative. So why its shiny is brown, I really don't know. I like the idea of Lumineon being this beautiful shining light in the coral reefs of the Pokemon world, and its shiny having this luminous mossy glow. I mean, there's even an item in Pokemon called Luminous Moss. So I gave Lumineon that same mossy glow in the form of a green body and allowed it to keep its blue details and all-around oceany feeling. I personally think this looks amazing, even if I still hate the stupid fish. Coming in for the number 8 spot is Togekiss. Now I'm not going to spend too much time on him. I have covered his previous evolution in a past video, but I didn't want to pass up Togekiss in this video because he's one of my favorites. Now, taking a page from my Togepi fix, I got rid of the simple color swap from red to blue and vice versa, and eliminated the red altogether, replacing it instead with black. I let him keep the slight twinge of yellow to its body, but that's it. It's a simple fix for the para-flinching Pokemon. I don't think it needs more than that. It's enough to tell it's shiny, and it looks good. Coming in at number 9 is Gastrodon. These right here are the normal forms of the East and West Coast variants, and these are the shiny forms. Or, wait, no. These are the shiny forms, and these are the normal forms. Or, okay. I won't lie to you guys, when I was preparing for this video, I forgot to label these. So, I actually have no idea which one is shiny and which one's normal. Let's just do a quick Google search, get our heads on right here, and try this again. Wow. Okay, those are some spectacularly bad shinies. Taking a page from Azelf earlier, let's just deepen and brighten the colors. Simple, yet effective. Not a massive change, but a better one. Now you can tell these neighboring slugs apart from their normal forms while still improving upon them. Simple. And last up on the list is Generation 4's other trio. Guess there's another trio in Gen 4. I'm talking about the 3 different forms of Wormadam. The Leafy, Sand, and Trash Cloak versions. Now the ones right here are for sure the normal non-shiny forms of this Pokemon. And these right here are the shiny ones. The only difference is their head/stem colors are a bit more bluey black than dull black. That's it. Motham gets to become a blaze in a bright yellow and blue so pure it would make a Suicune cry. And the ladies of the Burmy line get slightly different head colors. To fix up these ladies, I inverted them. I left the boring blue stem heads alone by simply just inverting the colors, swapping them around, making some really interesting changes. This trashy lady becomes a glow in hot pink, leafy lady here looks amazing in dark greens, and this saucy sandy girl looks ready to blend in even better to the desert now. It's an easy change, but a striking one, at least in my humble opinion. And that's it. 10 Pokemon from Generation 4 whose shinies I didn't like, so I gave them a new coat of paint and sent them on their way. Do you agree with my recolors? Did you really dislike any of them? Comment down below. I'm also really curious to know if there are any Pokemon from past generations that I missed that you'd like to see me take on. If you liked this video, you can always click that like button, and if you're interested in seeing more of my content from shiny highlights to top 10s, you can always hit the subscribe button. And hey, if you like those shiny highlights and would like to be a part of the conversation while I hunt for them, I live stream on Twitch, so you can give me a follow there if you'd like. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be sure to catch you on the next video.